Welcome to the
Hello,
show.
Reda. Thank you.
Let me start off by saying thank you so much for accepting the invite. I'm very grateful for your time today, and I appreciate it that you're going to share your time with us today.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm very happy as well.
Barbara, we're going to start off the conversation by you introducing yourself. Who is Barbara? What do you do?
I'm Barbara. I work as a photographer in Dubai, and I currently work especially with maternity photography, like for
Hmm?
pregnant ladies. And I've been a photographer for many years. I've been studying for, I don't know, 20 years, but I consider myself like a professional in the business since 2008. That's when I
Mhm.
got my first camera. And since
Uh-huh.
then, I've never stopped.
Why? Why photography and not something else? What drew you to it?
Yeah, I think it's funny because I think since I was a child, I was drew to images. And I used to see a camera, those big film cameras from family events. I used to go
Mhm.
crazy about them. So I had something with that word that would got my attention. But I think the main thing that's inside my heart is that it's such a beautiful thing. I like to create beautiful images and to put that out in the world. Even now, when I'm editing some photo shoots, sometimes I get home tired, but then
Mhm.
let me upload the photos. No, let me see this. Oh my God, let me see. Let me give little edits to see how it's gonna look. It's like, wow, and then I just keep looking at it, and that makes me feel well. So I think that's the deep thing inside me with photography, and that thing about since childhood, I like it, and then I started studying. So I think it was natural that I follow that path.
Wonderful. Like, I'm wondering, how does Barbara see the world in a sense? How do you know that, for example, this is a photo worth shooting? Like, because I believe that photographers can create an art
Yeah.
from, let's say, things which we don't usually see as normal personnel from a day-to-day
Yeah.
people. How do you do it?
Yeah, I think you need to be sensitive. I consider myself a very sensitive person. So I try to see the person that I'm taking the photo, and each person is different. And then I try to look at the environment. And one of my focus is the emotions, the expression, the spontaneity. Sometimes, of course, I'm going to pose them, but I like to have that real laugh and also the light. That was very nice. For example, I did a shoot on Tuesday
Mhm.
and I was looking for a special light. It was a home shoot, so no artificial light. And then there was a corridor with full of stuff. It was a little bit messy. And then I saw a light from the bathroom. And then I closed 4 doors around it. I put the pregnant lady there, and then I took the photo. I said, "No, but this thing is ugly. Why are you taking photos here?" And then she was so impressed. So I think that's it. You need to look for I don't know what is different in that place, and the light, and then of course the position, the clothes, but you need to try to see beyond, right?
Yeah, of course. Like seeing beyond the normal in a sense. This is what you do.
Yes, yes, I think that's what I try at least, and I hope I manage at least a few shots in each session. But and they were like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna get our living room," and I was worried because of that wardrobe that was behind. But then my eyes was completely opposite with them.
Yes.
And of course, I was thinking of how I'm gonna have them to interact in this place. It's a small place, but I need to create some movement. And then, of course, it's different from when I'm outdoor, that I have more space, and then when I'm indoor, okay, so I'm gonna adapt that. And then in here, I think I can because I'm not gonna make them laugh. Sometimes I do try, haha, make a laugh, but I usually try to create the situation where they're really laughing and they are really doing some movement the way they are, you know. So yeah, that's how I work different.
Barbara, I'm
Also with you,
wondering,
Barbara.
like, you chose a speciality in maternity photography, let's say.
Yes.
Why that? Like, why not something else?
Yes, it's I've been photographing pregnant ladies for many years. Even this photo shoot I did on Tuesday was very special because it was for my brother's family, and I took photos of them for the first baby 12 years ago. It
Hmm.
was one of my first maternity shoots, so like since then, maybe 12, 13 years, I can't remember when was the first one. I've been doing maternity photos, and I always thought these ladies, they feel so sometimes they feel so insecure about their bodies because all the changes that are happening. And
Hmm.
I saw so many of them complaining, oh no, I don't look good, I'm fat. Not all of them, but some of them. And that motivated me to show them, like I want to show them how pretty they are, because I think all of them are
Yeah.
pretty. And so with time, I started focusing more. I think, let's say, last 4 years, 4 or 5 years, I started studying a bit more about it, but I was still doing many other things. And in 2022, I was pregnant.
Oh,
So
congrats.
yes, and then I could experience myself how it was to be in a photo shoot, because I did many photo shoots of myself. Uh, and I could understand how they felt, not only on the photo shoot, but like everything they went through. I know every woman is different, but uh, I could relate more to that. And
Yes.
after I came back from my maternity leave, my son was my motivation to do what I love the most. And then, okay, I'm gonna also stay more time with him, so cut a little bit of my work time and focus on what I want. So what I want is that's the maternity photo. So that's when I started. Okay, I'm gonna target this, and it's amazing. I've been photographing so many pregnant ladies in the last year. It's really nice.
I've seen your profile and it's wonderful actually. Like, you're the first person which I've seen who have this, let's say, this niche of photography, and it's beautiful. I'm like
Thank
surprised
you.
how is it that photographers can create a profile out of something which we don't see. And it's beautiful. I'm
Yeah.
wondering, like, since you have been on the other side of the camera, what have been going like feelings through you? Did you feel, let's say, excited, nervous? What feelings did you have?
Yes, I felt nervous. I think in most of them, because you become vulnerable when you are in front of the camera. So even though I kind of know what to do, I've done many shoots, not only maternity, but uh, I get nervous. But then usually if the photographer makes you feel comfortable, you get excited. Before I used to get excited also when with all the preparation and sometimes choosing the outfit, choosing the location. And during the photos, I felt happy.
Mhm.
Some of the photos I felt pretty, and let's say some travel photo with my husband, I felt happy and excited that we were in that place. So, and let's say with my family, I did a shoot with my full family last year, and we had so much fun. And I think it's something very special. No, it's very you don't forget that moment, what you felt on those moments. Yeah, so it really moves my emotions.
Beautiful. Like, do you think that photography is a way for you
Sorry.
to deal with stress in life? Like, how does it
Um,
affect your, let's say, mental well-being? Do you think like it helps you in dealing with stress?
Think
Or
I'm
does it make you
not
more
sure if,
stressful?
no, it doesn't make me more stressful.
Yeah.
Only if I have too many shoots at the same time. But I think it makes me feel good actually. I love to spread uh, photos of my family around the house, even if it's just a single print. My fridge is full of photos. I have many frames, and sometimes I'm there at home and then I look at them and they make me feel well. They remind me of a part of my life, of part of my story, or maybe you see a place, you see an expression, and I think it makes me feel good. Uh, I'm not sure if it brings me back from when I'm stressed. I think so. I think sometimes I have a lot of photos of my son that keeps showing on my screen, on my phone. It changes every day twice. And then when you look at that, it does make you feel something. And then I think it can happen if I'm not in a very good mood or things are hard. And then I look at his little
Mhm.
face. Oh, okay, let's go. I think it has an effect.
Do you think that, like, when you go approach, let's say, a session, a photography session, how do you manage what you want to have in the photo with what the client have in their mind?
Yeah,
Like, did you
but
face,
yes,
for example,
yes.
how do you, let's say, manage this battle between what they want and what you want to show?
Yeah, it can happen. Like there can be difference. For my maternity clients, I've been doing a meeting in advance.
Hmm.
So I talk to them. I understand their stories. I understand what they like, what they don't like, and if they have a request that it's not really my style, but I can fit in between what I do, I don't mind uh, adding some, let's say, adding some flowers, but I never really use flowers. I don't mind. Even it happened not with maternity, but other clients that I like the color a bit uh, more this way. I say, okay, because I try to make them happy. Of course, I'm not going to go completely out of what I do.
Yeah.
Uh, let's say if they ask me my style for maternity, at least it's not those big dresses and uh, flying dresses. So if they ask me that, I don't have it. I don't really work with that. So I can't even offer them that service. But I think usually when they approach me, they already liked part of my work. So I
Yeah.
think we can, yeah, I think we can create a balance. And I'm not very strict. I want to make them happy.
Like, have you ever faced it that, like, taking a photo for someone, it boosts their self-esteem after? Do you think it makes them feel good about themselves after?
Oh, yes, yes, a lot that happens a lot. And I see people coming from like very shy and like, oh, I don't look good. Even recently, I had a client like, I hate taking my photos taken, having my photos taken, and
Yeah.
I don't look good. And then I'm just looking for 10 pictures. And then in the end, she loved all the pictures we offered. And then she got some more and then she was surprised. And I know because she told me on the spot how she was
Mm.
comfortable. And uh, so I think I had some people who even told me that. I remember one girl, she told me that I saved her years of therapy
Mm.
because she felt so pretty. And I've had clients who uh, one client, it's many years ago, it was just her portrait, and she wasn't very like that woman on the usual standards, and of course she was pretty as well in her way. And I remember she sent me a crying voice message when she saw the photos, and
Oh.
that's yeah, that's really nice. And one thing one of them told me that really stick to me is that she saw that I managed to show her. It's like I see people through other eyes. They see themselves through other eyes. Because even this girl, she's a very pretty girl, like on the standards, let's say everyone would agree that she's pretty, but she didn't see that on herself. She
Oh,
thought, no, I'm not photogenic. Yes. And then she was there and then happy with that photos. And then she said that I saw myself through other eyes. That's what you make with people. And I think that's even a process, especially for this year, for example, because it doesn't matter if everyone was telling her that she was pretty and all, but she had to see that for herself. And then she managed to see that through the photos. So I think the photography is a very powerful tool for that. And not only, I think not only on the result when the person sees that, but of course on how they feel during the shoot. Another client, I think she wrote on an Instagram post that she couldn't forget that day because she didn't know that maternity would feel good or not. She was pregnant, but since she arrived there and I told she was pretty, and then during the session she just saw her self-esteem increasing, and then after she saw the sensitiveness on the photo, so that really made her feel good. And I usually try to do that also, and not in a fake way because I'm not very good liar. I really look at them as like, wow, you look amazing, and then look at your makeup, and then I compliment them, but it comes from my heart, and then maybe that helps them also on the day to feel better, to feel pretty.
like in some way, you could be like a therapist as well. Because as you mentioned, like sometimes they come to you with a certain belief, certain idea. However, you can make them comfortable to be free, in a sense, in front of the camera. Is there like any technique that you use to make them feel comfortable? Because I'm pretty sure that many of them they come nervous, maybe,
Yeah.
but maybe you have this way of making them feel comfortable and relaxed.
Yes, that happens. I think for buttons, for example, that I do the meeting, it already helps them being comfortable with me as they know me before. But even
Mhm.
if I didn't do a meeting, I always try to talk to the person to see how they are and then to work around their personality and to understand a bit of their words, and then to
Mm.
go into it. And so I try to create some kind of connection. And and I think that's important for them to when they are in front of the camera and then they start interacting with me and then start releasing. So yeah, I think that's very important to make them feel comfortable, and it's one of my goals. I think since like many years, even before maternity or anything, I've always thought that it's not only about the photos, that is about they enjoying the moment, and because
Yes,
that moment is important. And so this is why I make so much effort to make them feel comfortable. And I'm very happy because usually I hear that from clients. So I think I'm on a good way.
beautiful. Like it's about enjoying the journey, not
Yes,
like focusing
exactly.
on the result.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that helps also for the result, right? If the
Yes.
person is feeling better, uh, then I go, "Oh, okay, after a few moments, oh, can I change your hair? Let's put your hair that way." Oh, no, she never thought that. And then she thinks she's pretty. And then I ask some movement, oh, okay, do that, walk like that, or give a little jump. And then when you see she's laughing, and then she's doing for herself, and then she starts creating
Yeah.
movement. That's really nice. Or the couple or whoever is in front of the camera.
Wonderful. Like I'm wondering, why do you think that sometimes people have a certain image of themselves? Like, for example, you told me that sometimes they come and they don't feel pretty. However, we see them from a third eye as pretty. So
Yes.
where do you think that they missed this sense of seeing themselves as beautiful? Do you think that the filters on social media are playing a role in this?
Yes, definitely. This thing about the filters is even, I remember a situation with a friend of mine. She used to use a lot of filters on the stories, but like, but then the person sees you and then you're different. You don't mind? I don't mind because everyone is doing that. So it's like the person, it's acceptable, right? That you change yourself.
Mhm.
So yeah, the person can create an avatar and then it always looks better. So then if they're seeing everyone looking better, and also of course with the Photoshop and everything, and then they don't identify themselves with that, which is not real. I think there are some profiles on the internet that are now maybe trying to show the other side, but I think it so many images and beautiful images kind of makes our we look at our flaws, I think, a bit more,
Yeah.
you know, like and compare. So I think this is why it's hard for them to see themselves in a real way. I don't know if I answered your question or if I'm
Yes,
missing
very,
something.
yes, you did. Like, because the way I see it also that the filters on social media are playing a role in changing the perspective of what's beautiful or not.
Yes.
So people like usually have this fake illusion of what beauty should look like. Although sometimes like we're just like perfect the way we are. So it made me wonder,
Yeah.
do you do a lot of, let's say, editing on your photos, or do you try to keep it as natural as possible? What's your strategy?
Yeah. My goal is to make the person see herself as herself. So I don't want them to see something plastic or another
Mhm.
person. I want to keep somehow real. But yes, I use some editing. I do a little bit of softening. But what I think is, let's say if I do some softening, I know I could achieve something result with a different light. If I just put a little bit more of light or a little bit less shadow, and then I think
Yeah.
for me, it's okay. I'm gonna soften this a little bit. If, for example, if the person has a scar, it's on her, right? It's on themselves, and so I try not to remove that unless the person asks me. Even sometimes if I'm not sure if it's a scar or acne or something,
Uh-huh.
I ask them, and because if it's an acne, it's gonna be there for 1 week, and maybe it's gonna go, and or she can cover a bit more with makeup. So I don't mind removing that. Or if, of course, some people have more spots on their face, and then I try. I'm not gonna make that completely soft. Uh, so I want them to see like how they are. But let's say, for example, a double chin. Sometimes you just a little bit of the position you do, you squeeze your arm or you make a
Yeah.
double chin. I don't mind just giving a little touch, but I'm not gonna remove it to make them look different, you know? I'm not gonna, I don't know, reduce their nose or their
Yeah.
ears unless it's something they really ask me and they are bothered. I've had some people asking me to remove birthmarks, linea nigra from the pregnancy, and I don't mind. But my approach at first is to just make those details look better, but still, I want the person to see themselves there. And
Barbara, do you think that you knowing the client more would help you in taking, let's say, a better picture in a sense? Would you, let's say,
yes,
if you know how the person in front of you think, would it help you in knowing what would they love and how to tailor the photo for them?
yes, I think so. When I know the person's stories, the person's story, I think uh, the photos come from a different place. The connection, and I can't really explain, but I think it's something emotional for me.
Mm.
And not only the practical stuff that I know they like this side or that side, or even like, oh, they like photo looking at the camera or not looking. And but I think even the emotional side of it, it changed, and I think definitely makes us get better pictures.
Mhm. What mistakes have you done back then as
No,
Barbara,
sorry.
as a new photographer, and
Mm,
now you have changed, like along your journey? What can you, for example,
wow.
tell a new photographer who wants to take this as a, let's say, new business or a new hobby or new passion? What can you tell them?
One thing, I don't know if that would answer your question, but one thing I remember that was one of my big mistakes was to
Mm.
when I start mixing too much. I didn't do my business properly in the beginning, so I was mixing too much. I think personal life and the business,
Mm.
just because it's something I love. Uh, but I wouldn't separate much stuff. So all the time I felt like I was working, and at that moment I gave a break so I could let the photography breathe, and now I can balance that better. I don't know if this is the kind of stuff you're telling or more of like practical stuff.
Yeah, this is one side of it.
Yeah,
Like, how much do we have to sacrifice, for example, to be successful in something? And this is where you mentioned the relationship and the work balance come.
yeah,
Like, because people to reach a successful stage, a lot of the time they have to sacrifice other things in their life.
yeah,
Now, practical wise, like what can you, for example, advise a new photographer on how to be perfect in a sense or how to be good?
yeah. Sorry, there's a little a
That's all
flying
right.
here.
Don't worry, it's fine.
Um, I think it's about sacrifice. Let me have a little think about it.
Like, have
Mm,
you sacrificed, let's say, things along the time where you have been practicing photography? How long have you been doing
ye-
it?
Yes, I think that's one thing, and I think maybe that connects to what I said, that I used to mix up the personal life and work. And so I think that was the biggest learn for me, because you have your work at home, because it's your computer, you always have to edit, deal with clients. And so you sometimes, because most of the photographers are solo entrepreneurs,
Mm,
and then so you are at home, and you have to keep doing whatever you're doing. So I think, let's say you lose waste time with your family. Uh, Maybe you feel like you have to be the entire day on the computer, or you are on the phone, and
yes.
then you should be enjoying a situation. I think that's or whenever you go, of course, studying, doing your course, trying to evolve. And I think that's, if I say about any sacrifice for me, is that, because for me, family, the time with my family, it's the most important thing. And I love doing my photography stuff, and I get excited when I'm studying, when I'm reading about the new equipment or learning about business.
Mm,
But I think you need to learn how to, okay, I'm gonna work from this time to this time, and then this time I will be with my son. No, at night I don't work anymore. And for example, weekends for me, since I got married, it's very important because my husband works normal times,
mhm.
and I want to be with him in the weekends. So, but I don't want to refuse work, because I know sometimes people can only do on the weekends. So I charge a
True.
little extra for the weekends, because I know if okay, I'm at least making it be a little bit more worth it to
True.
go out of my house and work. And I started doing like practical stuff, as for example, giving some time for editing, thinking of working days. Because let's say if I say, okay, you receive photos in 5 days, now it's 5 working days, because then I know I have to take those 2 weekend days off. And I don't know if that makes
Yes,
sense
it
for
did
you.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like you just taught us how, for example, before we take a decision, let's say people usually don't see what's on the other side of being good in something. They don't know what this person has sacrificed. When they
Mm,
open your page, for example, or profile on Instagram, they only see the beautiful results. They only see the photos and the things which they like, but they don't know everything that is behind it. The
yes.
time, the sacrifice, the
Yes. And of
hard work.
course,
They
like
don't see that.
yes, that's a lot. And like, for example, even when you invest in a course, and then you could be spending your money. Of course, it's the business money. Now I learned to separate them,
Yeah.
but of course, you could be taking that for yourself and doing something else. But you have to invest as well, and that's it. I think it's investing money and time. And I take a lot of time learning, and I think I'm happy for that, because I think we never stop learning, and I keep trying to do different things. What I'm doing, usually I have some procedures and photos that I want to achieve,
Hmm.
but then I always try to see, what else I can do different, that I can bring different to this client, and then also learn for my other clients. And I think that's it. It's a constant learning,
Yeah.
and taking your time for that. And I'm like, if let's say I want to listen to a podcast or to a class or something about, okay, this subject, or I'm searching about equipment. I don't know. I'm washing my dishes, and I'm there with my earphone,
Listening on the other
and
side.
listening. Yes, and that's how I do as well. Like if that's an advice for someone who's trying to study and then they say they don't have time, uh, that's what I do. But you go. I am here like folding my clothes. I'm here with of course, sometimes you have to stop and then to write and then to do some activity, but it's a way of doing it and trying to improve somehow with the time you have.
Do you have anything which you regretted along your journey? Like,
Mm.
have you done any mistakes which you regretted?
Wow, for sure.
Would you have done it again?
I think so. I think when you do mistakes, you learn from them, right?
Hmm.
They stay in your mind. I don't know if uh, I think every mistake I do or thing I notice that is not exactly the way I want, I
Hmm.
always use that for growing. So it's all the time, okay, that didn't work well with that client. So, okay, that happened. And then, of course, I try to find a solution for that person, but what I can do different for next time so it doesn't happen next time.
Hmm.
And so, yes, I think that's the way to deal. But then that's it. The mistakes make you grow and then bring you to the place you are. I don't know if you want me to tell anything specific about a
If you
mistake.
would
Then I
like.
would need to. It doesn't come like a straight away in my mind. I think it was like um, general small things, maybe decisions, or maybe sometimes there was a time when I used to do a lot of second photography shooting,
Hmm.
and so I think I used to hide myself a bit behind them, and it was comfortable because the other photographers always had work, so I was always having some work somehow.
Mm,
While I think I already had the potential to do full full time my own things, and I was still hiding for a long time. But again, uh, I think I've also learned a lot from them, and maybe it was not the time for me to have that maturity to, take a next bigger step. Uh, yes, but I remember, I don't know if I want to share that, 'cause I remember one
no, no, it's alright
very
if there's
big,
something
big,
that
big
you don't
mistake.
want to share. It's right, totally fine.
Yeah,
But like, I just like want to give guidelines to people
yes,
to, for example, know what to expect and how to handle things when they come along their way.
yeah.
Because like I'm pretty sure that sometimes you might have faced things. So and I just want them to learn how to overcome them in the future.
Ah, yes, I remember once, for example, this one I don't mind very much sharing. Some of them you're like, "Mm."
Like
I
okay.
was shooting uh it was a like a award for another photographer, but I went alone. And then I think because of I misunderstood the directions, I made a mistake when I was taking photo of the one of the winners, and the photo was
Mhm.
not good. And oh my God, I remember I was so upset. And then the manager, she was very angry. And then I tried to, I gave my time to try to fix that on Photoshop to do what I could. And um, but I think that's it. Okay, I stopped. Okay, what happened? Okay, maybe I didn't talk properly to him about that. Okay, so what I was missing to understand from here. So I think that's my process. I try to go like what could have been done different, and then okay, next time I'm gonna do it like that. Or if it's something, there was a client, she never told me that, but I had the feeling that she wasn't very happy about
Mhm.
the photos. and and then I was thinking to myself, okay, she's not telling me, but she's not happy. What can I do? Then first I offered her. Uh, then after, just to say, after a few years, I started looking. Okay, I could have done on the spot. I could have taken photos this way. I know there was something because they were late and then the light was different
Mhm.
from what I thought, but I could have done something on the day. So I reflect about it. But as the photos were already done, I first offered her to see all the photos. Maybe she would find out other photos that she liked,
I see.
and then I also told her, and I don't know, I'm not sure if you like the session. It was a session that we could do it again. So I wanna offer you, if you're not happy, I'm willing to do it
Make another.
again. Yes, and but she chose the other photos, and she said, no, no, it's fine. But that's it. I try to think, what can I do from here? And sometimes, some situations you can. For the award, I couldn't shoot it again. But then, of course, after this lady, I go, I see, okay, what I could have made better in my light or in my positioning with the location. And then next time I will do better.
Barbara, I'm pretty sure that, like, from what I took from you, that you have changed, like, or drew a smile on the faces of many women out there. What's your favorite testimony? Like something that you always remember, like you're very proud of. Like I'm pretty sure that there's something that you are very happy about. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, there are a few. Thank God I got some nice testimonials. But I think there are two ladies that come to my mind that were recently, and one of them, I know she had a hard time until she got pregnant, had a baby, she had a journey, and when she saw the photo, she sent me a long voice message, crying and saying uh, that she knew when she chose me, she saw feelings behind the photos. And that was what she saw in her photos, because the way how beautiful her family was portrayed there, it was something like amazing. And she said like, oh, you do have a gift to see people in a special way, something like that. And that she was going to look at the photos forever. And that's really nice. It's really touching.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, oh, I have a gift, I'm a special person, but I feel like, wow, I gave her exactly what she was looking for. I managed to see that moment for her and for them. So it's really moving. And there is this lady also. Uh, I photographed her pregnant, and
Mhm.
then after a few weeks she came back with her baby. First time she was going out with her baby, like 2 weeks old baby, something like that. And I don't know if you know how it is to go out with a newborn baby, but it's especially when you're a first time parent, it can be a hard thing to do.
Yeah, I
Uh,
can relate. They can be very afraid, maybe.
yeah, and it was so they went there for the newborn photos, and on the way the baby had to be fed, so she was breastfeeding. And then I asked her, would you like to have your photos taken while you're breastfeeding? And she said yes. And she was there like comfortable. And then of course later she told me I wouldn't be like that if it was someone else.
Mhm.
And she was there in that moment, and it's a very difficult moment at the beginning. You have to adjust, you don't have a very good position. And so we took those beautiful photos that I love. And after she came back home, she sent me a video because her mom was there, and she filmed her when she was being photographed breastfeeding. And then she
Yeah.
said something like, "That's the most powerful I've ever felt in my life. Thanks for creating this space for me to be this person."
Mm.
Like, what can I do? Like, what can I say? Like from that, right? I think it's very, very deep, very
Very
special, and
inspiring.
yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
like it's very beautiful. Like I've spoken to many people, and it's so beautiful how each one, with their different, let's say, expertise, different profession, they have the capacity to create a smile and a sense of happiness, a deep sense of happiness, let's say, with the people that they are working with. It's very beautiful. Like, no matter the profession, if you do it profoundly, you can create a beautiful moment.
Yeah, that's very nice. That's very nice thing to see. Mhm.
Like, Barbara, what's your vision for the future? Do you have any goals, or do you have something that you are planning for later on?
Mm, for a career, you mean your life?
Let's say in the world of photography, like how do you, for example, do you see yourself doing this for the rest of your life? Does it fulfill you?
Uh, it's funny. I don't think I've thought about like rest of my life.
Yeah.
I see myself now getting even deeper on this world of maternity and motherhood and all, like even also doing some newborn. And I think uh, as long as it really touches me, I think I'm gonna keep
Mhm.
doing it. And I have more like a goal, like a more practical goal of doing more indoor photo. That's something I just found out I liked many years
You want to
after I
experiment
started
with.
photography. Yeah, so it's like, let's say I'm doing studio for 3 years now only, and it's something that was actually a very good achievement because I spent my life seeing other photographers work with that and being afraid,
Yeah.
and then finally I went through that, and then I found a passion. So I see myself like in this practical stuff like doing more studio, and also because one thing I think about the long run is that I might start getting tired. So that I asked myself, like, how is going to be? I did, for example, many uh, kids' birthdays a few years ago, and then
Mhm.
you have to go. I put a lot of effort. I go down, so I spend like 3 hours down taking the photos, try to get candid photos of the kid, and it's a hard work. And I say, if I'm a little bit older, I might not have that energy.
Mhm.
And then I remember a time wondering, oh, maybe I'm not gonna be able to be a photographer because I will need that physical effort. But then with the studio, I realized that I can have another path and
Yeah.
maybe stay in the photography. It's hard for me to see like something else because I think it's really how I feel like myself. It's I identify so much with that. So somehow I think I will always have photography in my life. And which kind? For now, I'm happy with the this line I'm doing, and I might discover other things, like as I mentioned that I started doing some newborn and then breastfeeding, and so from one thing I discovered other things,
Mhm.
uh, but I think that goes with the time, you know.
Of
I've
course.
done so many different lines in my life. I did a lot of weddings in a time, which one point I realized that I didn't want to do anymore, and
Mhm.
then I managed to go to portraits. So first, when I moved from weddings was because I knew I loved portraits, and I found a field, so it was more general portraits, and then now I'm in this niche, and maybe I'll find something else in the future.
I see. Barbara, I'm very happy that you found your calling or you found your passion in life. Like many people always spend their life just looking for it, and you found it. And that's something very beautiful, actually. Like, I believe that we would be better humans if we can find our passion and what we thrive with. I just have one more last question, and I
Yes.
usually ask it for my guests. Are you happy in life?
Yes. That's a lovely question. And yes, I can say fully that I'm very happy. I
Beautiful.
have my family. I think that's what makes me happiest. And then my work going in the nice direction, the direction that I love. Thank God we are all healthy as well. I
Yes.
think that's all you need. I think love and health.
Barbara, I'm very grateful for today's conversation. I'm very happy that we had the chance to speak and share your experience and knowledge with the people out there. I wish you nothing but happiness for you and your family, and all the best for you in the future. Thank you so much, Barbara.
Uh, Thank you, Red. I wish the same for you, all the happiness. Thanks for the nice work you've been doing. And thanks so much for having me, for the opportunity for me to share a bit of my ideas in here as well.
You are
All
most
the
welcome.
best to you.
All the
Thank you.
best. Bye bye.
You
Ciao.
too. Bye bye.